Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 2 hearings and a motion for contempt with a couple where Mom says not only has Dad not paid any of his $50 a month child support for the last year, but he also refused to take a hair follicle test when she requested he do so, despite her being allowed to ask for one, according to their parenting plan. What are Dad's excuses for not paying support or submitting to the test? Let's find out.
I see a Justin Kelly on Zoom. Are you able to unmute?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can unmute. Sorry.
okay. So it looks like my concern, do I have Jesse Ingram present?
Yes, I'm present.
Okay. So what I have this on is a show cause motion. I see Mr. Kelly is present. When I reviewed this file in preparation for docket, my records show that the sheriff was not able to serve the documents on Mr. Kelly. So Mr. Kelly, have you received the motion for show cause here in this case?
I believe so. I was served paperwork.
When were you served?
Shoot. Like a week ago.
And
I don't know the exact date, but yeah, about a week ago.
who served you?
Jesse's sister.
Okay. So, Ms. Ingram, if there was service of the documents on Mr. Kelly, we would need proof of that filed with the court.
Okay, she said she did turn it in, so I don't know.
If she turned it in like yesterday, it wouldn't be scanned in time.
She said she turned it in last week on Monday, so.
We do not, I'm just looking to see, sometimes they hand me late filed things and I'm not seeing it. But Mr. Kelly, it sounds like you're saying that you did receive the order, or excuse me, the motion.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you anticipate filing a response to it?
Yes. I'm not honestly sure how this is supposed to go. I mean, I just seen court date, and because I've got a whole lot going on in my life right now that this is just, I didn't really look too much into it. I seen court date and was like, okay, I'll be at court.
So there's an allegation in the motion. So typically we would ask for a response. You're here today. You can give me your response orally, or you can tell me you agree with the motion. But essentially right now, the motion is that you have failed to pay $50 per month since November of 2022. And then there's also a statement that the parenting plan is not being obeyed, issues with hair follicle testing that isn't being done. So the request is by Ms. Ingram that you submit to hair follicle testing and comply with the parenting plan and support order.
Okay, so all right. So what I don't know, understand what I'm supposed to do.
Let me ask you this. Do you agree or disagree that you have not paid child support in the amount of $50 a month since November of 2022?
I mean, I haven't been working since then, so I've been I was injured in work, and so I decided at that point that I needed to switch my career. Otherwise, I was gonna, be a broken old man at a young age. So I've been, exploring other avenues for a career, specifically in the IT department. But I need to get schooling. So long story short, no, I haven't paid since November because of, me having a, midlife career crisis. And, so,
Okay.
I mean, it's an amount that I can pay. Honestly, I just, it was coming out of my paychecks automatically. So it was
Okay.
something that was never really thought of.
You
But
are, you are able to pay $50 a month?
Yeah, I can get that set up, no problem, and even catch that up, that $600 up that are roughly that I owe, rather quickly as well.
Okay. And then what about the hair follicle testing that appears to be a condition to visitation?
She was unreasonable about the tests and the timing of it, and I was, I had plans that day that she just expected me to toss out and, to go along with her random hair follicle test because of, whatever reason she has to believe that I need one. I mean, it kind of unreasonable to me, in my opinion, but I guess that's just where we're at with our parenting relationship.
Okay, I'm just going back to see. So do you believe that the parenting plan doesn't require you to get a hair follicle test?
No, that's not the case. I believe that it's been a minute since I've read it, but if I believe, if I'm to remember correctly, it's stated in there, but I mean, honestly, it's been a minute since I've looked at the parenting plan, so I don't know, but I mean, she's not really a dishonest person. So, if she says it was in there, then I'm more inclined to believe that it is than to not.
Just looking for you guys have been involved in this case for
Several years.
more than a decade. Yeah. So I'm just looking to see where the most recent
There has not been one.
of hair follicle testing has been. You all haven't been back since 2018.
There has not been any hair follicle test or drug test, for that matter, at all, I've had to take in the entire time we've had this parenting plan.
Let me turn to you, Miss Ingram. Obviously, I think the child support is an easy issue, essentially an acknowledgement it hasn't happened and he is able to do it now. So I will at least enter an order to that effect that he needs to abide by the $50 a month child support payments. Help me understand a little bit more about how you believe the hair follicle testing is contempt.
So per our parenting plan, I was, at the time, I requested that be an option because he was having issues with drugs at the time. And in our parenting plan, I was specific to request it be a hair follicle test. As I work at a doctor's office, I know a lot of people can fake a urine test, and I went in and requested and paid for one at the Kelso Health, and they had it for about 2 weeks. And then they asked me if I wanted to come get my refund because he had not completed it. I let him know that he needed to get it done, and he said he wasn't going to do it. He needed to go. I probably should go get my money back because he wasn't going to go do that. And from my perspective, I felt like if you were doing the right thing, it shouldn't be an issue to go get that completed. I have reasons to believe that he is not doing what he should be doing, and I don't want to have my kid around somebody who is using drugs and putting him in situations that he shouldn't be in as a 14-year-old. So
yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Obviously, I don't think anyone today would disagree with that. I think the question for me, though, is because you have filed this in form of a contempt motion, it means I have to find that he violated a court order.
On our parenting plan, it states that I can request a hair follicle test. I have the parenting plan we filed in 2012. It states
it's the
specifically, or 2000.
I'm looking at, the September 6, 2012 is your last final order.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot
and
of,
we have not we haven't been back to court since because he was in prison for 2 years. And
I'm just,
we
there's a
got
lot of, there's a lot of handwriting, so I'm just trying to get to it. Okay. The father shall not use non-prescribed drugs. The mother may request and prepay for a UA or hair follicle test up to 4 times a year. The father must take the UA or hair follicle test within 4 hours of the request. If the father fails to appear for the test or the test UA is dirty, his residential time will terminate until further order of the court. And that was signed by a judge or commissioner on September 6, 2012.
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay, so Mr. Kelly, what can you tell me about that? Is there any allegation that this was being requested more than 4 times a year?
This is the first time at all ever that I've been requested to, have any kind of test done, whether it be UA or hair follicle test.
Okay. So, and Ms. Ingram, let me just clarify, you did ask for a contempt finding on the back child support of $50 a month back to November of 2022. But in your proposed order to me, you checked the box, no money judgment is ordered.
So the reason I took that off was because I was put in a situation where I had to fill out these papers now. Otherwise, I was under the impression I wasn't going to get my kid back because he came and picked him up when I was at work.
Okay.
So I didn't have the documentation to present how much is owed in back support. I mean,
Okay.
it's $50
Right.
a month, and I have not received $50 a month since he worked. And from my understanding, he was going to get a different job. He was going to do this, do that, do this, but I still have not been presented with $50 a month in as long as I can remember since he decided to stop working. And
Okay.
I spoke with child enforcement and I tried to get the paperwork for the documentation, and they never sent it. And they don't even have an address for where he's living because he is not compliant with them. So I don't
Okay.
know. The reason I took that off is because I didn't have the paperwork. I couldn't present how much is owed, or
Okay.
I mean, I'm just doing the math in my head. I haven't been receiving anything
If
for
I haven't
a
paid since
while.
November and it's October, it's $600. 5 times 12 is 60. So
Yeah, it's fine, sir. So here's what I'm going to do, because there's not, and I think, ma'am, you're certainly playing fair. I mean, what I'm going to do is indicate that there has been, Mr. Kelly has not followed the parenting plan, both with regard to paying back child support, $50 a month, but that he is now able to pay it. So on that note, I'm going to indicate that essentially he can correct the contempt by beginning to make payments towards the back child support. I will also find that he has failed to follow the order of the court, in that up to 4 times a year, he can be requested to take a hair follicle test that Ms. Ingram pays for. And then if it's dirty or he refuses to take it, he has to reimburse for that, and he loses his parenting time. He can purge or correct that contempt if he takes a hair follicle test. I'll put this in your court, Ms. Ingram. When would you like that taken by?
Well, I would have to go purchase this test, and he would
Right.
have to just I would like it to be done now. If he wants to have visitation, if he wants to say that he's doing what he needs to be doing, he should be giving me reasons to believe that.
Yeah.
It's not that hard of a request. So
what
Yeah,
reason is that you even had to request this?
Mr. Kelly, hold on. It's in a court order. So she does have the
I
right to
know,
request
but mine and her relationship since I've been
I
out of business.
I understand. And all I'm going on is just black letter here. There's an order that says she can do it. I'm not here to argue about whether it's being used appropriately or not appropriately. It was a judge's order. And it sounds like this is the first time in a long time that Ms. Ingram is implementing this provision of the order. So if I said, take a hair follicle test within 24 hours, would that be acceptable?
I think so.
Okay. Within 24 hours. Okay. And then what we will do is set a review date and I think on the hair follicle test, I'd like to have you all come back next Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. if you are able, so we can review compliance with the hair follicle testing. If there's continued contempt of that, then we'll take further action as needed. We can also check in on the payments towards back child support. I want to be clear, I'm not expecting all of it to be paid by next Wednesday. I understand unemployment status, but I do want to see or hear that some payments are starting to come through. Okay. And so essentially what that means today is I have found contempt on both of those issues. I'm not issuing jail time or a money judgment. I am stating that the order from 2012 has not been followed, and that in order to correct that issue, that contempt, begin making payments towards back child support, take the hair follicle test within 24 hours. We will come back, is it the 25th?
Yes.
October 25th, 2023 at 9 a.m. on the family law docket. And we'll review those matters, okay?
Okay.
All right, any questions for me from either one of you?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, thank you both. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Okay. Is to more recently filed cases. So the first on my docket is 11-3-00640-3. This is Jesse Ingram. Do I have Jesse online?
Hello.
Hello. And then Justin Kelly. Do I have Mr. Kelly online? Okay, I'm just going to go into that digital file here. So last time we were here, Mr. Kelly was present.
Yeah, and I don't see him on there today.
Okay. So we had gone ahead, just pulling up that order. We had gone ahead at the last hearing. I did find contempt. I set today as a review date for him to begin making payments towards back child support and to take the hair follicle test within 24 hours as a way to purge his contempt. Do you know if any of that has occurred?
I haven't received any notification of that being completed. He did reach out to me this morning over text, kind of indicating that he didn't do any of that. So
Have you received any of the back child support?
no, and I haven't been contacted from child support enforcement or anything either. So
I'm just looking at your original motion. So what I will find today is number one, he is not present and he was here when we set this date. That he, based on all the evidence I have in front of me, meaning nothing has been filed since our October 18th hearing, I will find that he has not purged the contempt. Are there additional sanctions, ma'am, that you are requesting from the court given his lack of compliance with the contempt order?
I'm not really sure like what I can't request. I guess my biggest concern is since this has gone on, I've gotten multiple messages like requesting me to not go through with court, to kind of harassment, I feel like. And I don't
I just don't want to be put in a situation where I have to go reach out to a police officer because he just takes it upon himself to like show up or do what he did last time for me to make this start this process. I don't know. He did show up at my house after I told him not to come get Jaren, and that's kind of what instigated the whole this whole proceeding.
So there are additional things you can request of the court, given the behavior in this case. I can't give you legal advice from the bench, so I would recommend perhaps that you meet with legal aid if you can't afford an attorney consultation. We do have, do you know when legal aid's in the courthouse? Mondays, so every Monday between 12 and 2, we have legal aid attorney volunteers here at the courthouse that could chat with you. So that would be my recommendation to see how you want to move forward. For now, I am going to issue just a bench order noting his failure to appear, that he has not purged his contempt, and that all visitation with the minor child is hereby ceased. He has no, you are not obligated in any way to allow visitation at this time because he has failed to comply primarily with the hair follicle testing is what I'm basing my decision on. And then if you want to bring any further requests or motions to this court for sanctions, please feel free to do so. Okay. Anything else you need from me today?
I think that's everything.
Okay. So I'm going to issue that bench order. And then, like I said, if there's further requests of this court that you have after you talk to legal aid or an attorney, please renote it. I'm not setting a review hearing for you today. Since this was just on for contempt. So again, please feel free to renote if you have further matters.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Best of luck to you.